The readings will now be given by Bruce.
I will read from the Bible. Psalms. Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. Genesis. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him. And he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." But he refused. And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time, that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. She called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, "See, he hath brought in an Hebrew unto us, to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me. And I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And Joseph's master took him, and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, There was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, and he interpreted to us our dreams. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Exodus. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. 2 Corinthians. Examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Now I pray to God that ye do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. The correlative reading is from Prose Works by Mary Baker Eddy, and from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, also by Mary Baker Eddy. Trust in truth, and have no other trusts. Obeying the divine principle which you profess to understand and love demonstrates truth. Never absent from your post, never off guard, never ill-humored, never unready to work for God is obedience, being faithful over a few things. If in one instance obedience be lacking, you lose the scientific rule and its reward, namely, to be made ruler over many things. A progressive life is the reality of life that unfolds its immortal principle. The student of Christian Science must first separate the tares from the wheat, discern between the thought, motive, and act superinduced by the wrong motive or the true, the God-given intent and volition. Arrest the former and obey the latter. This will place him on the safe side of practice. God is the fountain of light, and he illumines one's way when he is obedient. The disobedient make their moves before God makes his, or make them too late to follow him. Be sure that God directs your way, then hasten to follow under every circumstance. Human will must be subjugated. We cannot obey both God, good, and evil. In other words, the material senses, false suggestions, self-will, selfish motives, and human policy. We shall have no faith in evil when faith finds a resting place and scientific understanding guides man. Honesty in every condition, under every circumstance, is the indispensable rule of obedience. If malicious suggestions whisper evil through the mind's tympanum, this were no apology for acting evilly. We are responsible for our thoughts and acts. And instead of aiding other people's devices by obeying them and then whining over misfortune, rise and overthrow both. If a criminal coax the unwary man to commit a crime, our laws punish the dupe as accessory to the fact. Each individual is responsible for himself. Evil is impotent to turn the righteous man from his uprightness. The science of Christianity makes pure the fountain in order to purify the stream. It begins in mind to heal the body, the same as it begins in motive to correct the act and through which to judge of it. Let us remember that God good is omnipotent. Therefore, evil is impotent. There is but one side to good. It has no evil side. There is but one side to reality, and that is the good side. God is all and in all. That finishes the question of a good and a bad side to existence. Truth is the real, error is the unreal. You will gather the importance of this saying when sorrow seems to come, if you will look on the bright side. For sorrow endureth but for the night, and joy cometh with the light. Then will your sorrow be a dream, and your waking the reality, even the triumph of soul over sense. If you wish to be happy, argue with yourself on the side of happiness. Take the side you wish to carry, and be careful not to talk on both sides or to argue stronger for sorrow than for joy. You are the attorney for the case, and will win or lose according to your plea. Striving to be good, to do good, and to love our neighbor as ourself, man's soul is safe. Man emerges from mortality and receives his rights inalienable, the love of God and man. What holds us to the Christian life is the sevenfold shield of honesty, purity, and unselfed love. Pale, sinful sense, at work to lift itself on crumbling thrones of justice by pulling down its benefactors, will tumble from this scheme into the bottomless abyss of self-damnation, there to relinquish its league with evil. Wide yawns the gap between this course and Christian science. God, spare this plunge, lessen its depths, save sinners, and fit their being to recover its connection with its divine principle, love. For this I shall continue to pray. As of old, I stand with sandals on and staff in hand, waiting for the watchword and the revelation of what, how, whither. Let us be faithful and obedient, and God will do the rest. Truth is always the victor.